My brother said he needed help for 6 months. I let him move into my apartment. He didn't pay rent, didn't clean, took over my bedroom. Then he lost his job. I gave him mine so he could keep paying child support. Yesterday, my landlord called. The lease was terminated. My brother had transferred it to his name. When I confronted him, he said, "You're too soft. Life will eat you alive." I spent that night on a friend's couch. This morning, I started something I should have done years ago. About a year ago, my brother called me, said he needed a place to stay. He didn't sound panicked. More like worn down. He'd just gotten kicked out of his apartment. His ex was threatening to take him back to court over child support, and he had nowhere else to go. "I just need 6 months, man. That's it." I didn't even think about it. I told him yes right away. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Elgin, Illinois. It's nothing special, but it's clean and I like the quiet. I worked a steady front desk job at a gym, kept to myself, and finally had a little routine that didn't feel like chaos. When Nick moved in, I gave him the second room. It was more of a storage space for me, but I cleared it out. He didn't have much, just a few garbage bags full of clothes, some shoes, and this old Saga mattress that smelled like cigarettes. No bed frame. He just tossed it on the floor and said he'd get one eventually. He never did. The first 2 weeks were okay. He was in a bad mood most of the time, but I gave him space. He said he was applying to jobs online, so I didn't ask too many questions. He bought groceries once, maybe twice. Left his dirty socks all over the living room. Never washed dishes. Then one day, I came home from work and my bed was clearly slept in. I walked into my room and found my pillow flipped to the other side, sheets wrinkled, and the fan moved. I asked him about it. He didn't lie. "Yeah, I crashed in there last night. My back's been killing me. Your mattress is firmer." That was it.
No epalegi.
No offer to switch rooms. He just kept doing it. Eventually, he just took my room. I don't even remember when it officially changed. I started sleeping in the second room, the one that was meant to be his. He lost a warehouse job a few months after moving in. Blamed the manager. Said the guy had it out for him. I didn't press. But I noticed the child support letters started piling up again on the table. One night, he said to me, "I could seriously get locked up, man. She's pushing for court. I can't miss another payment." So I did something I thought was helping. I told him he could take my job. My manager liked me, and I figured I could find another gig, something better maybe. I told her it was a cousin who needed work. I trained Nick myself for 2 weeks. Showed him the system, the regulars, everything. He started working there. I started picking up side work through apps. Delivery temp stuff. It wasn't steady, but I was okay. Still had a roof over my head. Or so I thought. Then yesterday, my landlord called. He said, "Hey, just wanted to confirm, you're officially moved out now." I said, "What?" I never said I was moving. He paused and said, "Your brother came in last week, signed the new lease. Said you were relocating for work and told us to update the paperwork." I didn't understand at first. I asked if I was still on the lease. "You're not," he said. He had everything transferred. Said you were done here. I couldn't breathe for a second. I left work and rushed home. My key still worked. When I walked in, most of my stuff was in boxes near the door. My clothes. My computer. My dishes. Nick was sitting on the couch, legs up, eating chips and watching TV like nothing had happened. I said, "What the hell did you do?" He looked up, completely calm, and said, "You're too soft. Life's gonna eat you alive if you don't grow up." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't even speak. I picked up the few things I could carry and left. I stayed at my friend Tasha's place that night. She let me crash on the couch. I didn't tell her everything. Just said, "Nick pulled some shit." She nodded like she already knew. This morning, I blocked his number. Opened a new bank account. Transferred what little money I had. Called the gym and told them what happened. And then I started over. I sat at the public library and applied for 10 jobs in 2 hours. I made a new email. A new voicemail message. A new everything. No more favors. No more explanations. 3 days after I left, I got a message through Facebook. It was from Nick's ex, Melissa. It just said, "You really gave him your job? Why?" I stared at it for a minute before replying. Didn't realize it was a permanent gift. She responded right away. "He hasn't paid support in a month. Thought you should know." I felt this weird mix of anger and shame in my chest. Shame, because I'd been so sure I was helping. Anger, because I should have known he'd blow it. I asked her, "Do you know if he's still working at the gym?" She didn't answer for a while. Then she sent a screenshot. It was a job listing for the same gym for the same front desk job. "Just saw this online," she wrote. "Looks like he quit." That night, I called the gym, using a friend's number. I asked if they were hiring for front desk. The manager, same one I trained under, picked up. She said, "Yeah, actually, we had a guy walk out mid-shift 2 weeks ago. Didn't even say anything. Just left his badge and bounced." I said, "Was his name Nick?" She sighed. "Yep." "Friend of yours?" I hung up. He didn't just take my job. He quit it. He threw it away like it was nothing. A week later, Tasha told me she saw him downtown, outside a bar, laughing with some girl, wearing my old leather jacket. That jacket was the last gift my mom gave me before she died. I kept it in the back of my closet, wrapped in plastic. I'd forgotten to grab it when I left. I started checking social media after that. I hadn't done that in years. Nick's Instagram was public. It was full of new photos, parties, bars, random women, pictures of him posing in my room, calling it my new place. The captions were like knives. "Never trust a broke man with a good heart. Finally living for me." Some people were born to be side characters. I felt sick. He didn't just take my space. He was performing it, living inside my life like it was his. One night, I went back. I waited until I was sure he wouldn't be home. I still had the key. I hadn't turned it in yet. Everything smelled different. It wasn't my place anymore. There were empty beer bottles on the table, ashtrays overflowing, a used condom on the floor near the couch. In the corner, I saw my mom's jacket, crumpled up, used as a pillow. I grabbed it. That was the only thing I came for. Then I did something else. I opened the kitchen drawer. Found the old lease. My name had been scratched off with black marker. I flipped to the back. Nick had forged my signature. Twice. Not a guess. It was perfect. He'd practiced. I took pictures of everything. I didn't know what I was going to do with them yet. But I knew I wasn't done. I sent the photos of the lease to my landlord that night. I didn't say much. Just typed, "Thought you should see this. That's not my signature." He didn't reply right away. 2 days later, I got a voicemail. He sounded nervous. "Hey, listen, we need to talk. You didn't say anything about forgery. If that's true, we might be in legal territory I wasn't prepared for. Can you come by?" I did. We sat in his office, this small dusty room above a dry cleaner. I showed him everything. The lease, the photos, the texts, the jacket. He rubbed his face like he was waking up from a bad nap. "I thought you'd moved out." He was confident. Had the right info. Knew your birth date, social. Knew where you used to work. I said, "Yeah, because he's my brother. I trusted him." He sighed. "Well, you could file charges. Forgery, misrepresentation. I'd back you. But it'll take time. Courts are slow. Meanwhile, the lease is still active under his name now. So, I have no rights to the apartment? Nope." I walked out feeling like the floor had fallen a few inches under my feet. Not low enough to break anything, just low enough to make everything harder. The next twist came fast. Tasha texted me while I was walking home. "You need to call your bank. Now." I didn't ask why. I just did. There was a charge I didn't recognize. Several, actually. Ride shares, meals, even a new phone line added to my account. Nick had used my old login info, the one I never changed. He'd rerouted my recovery email weeks ago while I was still staying in the second bedroom. He must have gotten into my accounts back then, just quietly waited for me to leave before digging in. He even signed into my old Netflix and changed the name on the profile, Doormat. I felt heat rise in my face. That night, I went to Melissa's place. She didn't expect me, but when she opened the door, she didn't look surprised either. "I heard," she said. "Come in." We talked for 2 hours. She told me stories I didn't want to hear, about how Nick used to lie about where the child support money was going, how he once told their son I owed him everything because I never had to raise a kid. I told her what had happened. The lease.
The job.
The accounts. The jacket. She was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, "Do you want to make it right? Or do you want to make it hurt?" I didn't answer. But the next day, I opened a new email account and started drafting something. A detailed timeline. Documents attached. Screenshots. Call logs. I sent it to 3 places. The landlord, to cover myself. The police, in case it came to that. And the gym. The one place Nick might try crawling back to when he ran out of charm. That night, I slept at a Motel 6.
Cheap.
Quiet. And I kept the jacket close. Because at this point, I wasn't just trying to get my life back. I was taking notes. I haven't spoken to Nick since. Haven't blocked him either. I want him to see me living without him. Quietly.
Steadily.
Like none of it broke me. Even though parts of it did. People keep telling me I should be proud for walking away, for standing up. But the truth is, I'm not proud.
I'm tired.
And when I think about everything he took, what really stays with me isn't the money or the apartment or even the job. It's that for a long time, I really believed being good to him would make him good to me. I don't believe that anymore. And I think he knows that the next time he sees me, I won't be the one giving.